Hello everyone, episode number 2. Before I go too much further in this course, I just want to give you like how the repo finally work. Here it's the repo. I put the description, the link in the description. You can follow each episode by following like the branch. So episode 0, 0, 1, and the master is gonna always be the latest version. In the slash demo, it's for me. I mean, I need to sometimes check my code to make sure. So I just want to make sure that you understand everything, all that works. So I hope this thing gonna make sense. And now time to jump on the code. So back where we are before, we are able to create a user. I can resend a user, and I'm gonna create a user. Now, really bad thing is, if I want to try to do authentication, I need to make sure that I have a unique email, because I'm going to do the authentication with an email and a password. So it's time to do some validation in the model of the user. So this is what we're going to do for this episode, and also we're going to do the hashing function for hashing the password, and don't let this password123 in the database. So go inside your model, and we're going to add some value to this email. First thing, we're going to say that's going to be a type of string, because now we need to do this in a type because it's an object now. We're going to say unique is true. We want it to be unique. We also want to trim everything. So if the user has some space at the end, we're going to remove it. We're going to say it's required true. It cannot be saved without an email. And now here we're going to say validate. So validate is an object. We're going to take a validator function. This validator here gonna take the emails, and it's gonna do some validation about the email. Now this thing gonna just be too much crazy. It's gonna be a regex for the email. I know you can use some library, but hey, we are developer, time to code a bit. So we're gonna do a regex. So we're gonna start by doing a slash with this arrow symbol, and we're gonna say here a 0 9. Finally, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just copy what I have. It's gonna be easier for you. So here, this regex finally just gonna make sure that the user gonna have value, finally a valid email. So as you see here, we're going to make sure first we're going to have this symbol, and also we're going to make sure that we have a thing before the symbol and thing after the symbol, and a dot with some other value that come, etc. So it's just for a regex for the email. If you don't like this, we'll go with your validator and everything. Again, this tutorial is just for the flow of a user authentication. The code, it's for you. If you want to, you can use the same tutorial with Postgres if you want. I mean, it's your way. So here I'm gonna say email regex, and I'm gonna say test, and this is how you can test regex, and this thing gonna return a boolean. This is really important. The validator here need to return a boolean. So you see, I just put my mouse here, and the boolean return a boolean. So that here I can put a comma, and I can say message. Well, this message gonna be what MongoDB gonna show when this email is not valid. I'm gonna say value, so that's gonna be the value. That's gonna be the email of the user he enter. Value, it's not a valid email, like that. So we set up the email. That's perfect. So now if I want to test that, so now I'm gonna send this thing, validation error, email John Snow. It's not John Snow, it's not a valid email. So it worked. We're gonna make sure to it work with a valid one. So we're gonna say John like that.com. And now it works. Perfect. So now we're going to do the same for the password, where I'm going to say it's a type of string, require true, trim true, validate. Again, the same thing. Validator here, going to take the password. Then now here I'm going to say just password the length. So that's a string. So I just want the password that length to be bigger than 6, and also I want the password that match and here I can see some regex, and I'm gonna just say slash d plus g. Yeah, like that. And here I can just say if I want valid password, but I can just say not a valid password this way because I don't want to resend the value. So now we set up the password, we set up this thing like that. Now the thing is about the unique. If I send right now, so I have the same value, so just for showing you, my RoboMongo I've saved in the DB this John Snow right there, this one. So if I send again, now looks at, so 1 second. What happened? Maybe know why. It's because I'm gonna need to drop my my collection, because I think the collection didn't get every stuff. It's like the schema didn't get the unique through. So now if I resend, pretty weird. Okay, sorry about that. I get it work. So what happened is you're gonna need to drop your database and also restart your server. So here you click drop database, you close your server, and now that should work. And just to make sure that works, what you can do is click back here, click on collection. So here I'm gonna just delete it. I'm gonna delete this thing. Yes. And now you click here on out, you click on statistic, you get here the key, you get your user authentication dev out and stuff like that. And now just make sure that the index here gonna have 2 indexes, the ID and also the email. If this is there, now that should work. So now I'm gonna create first time Jon Snow. And now if I send again, now look at this ugly error. That don't make sense. I mean, if you send me that as a, like if you send me that, if I'm working in the front end, I'm gonna really don't like it. So what we can do for make it better, we have a simple package here called unique yarn add mongoose unique validator. So it's just a way to have a good unique validation when you have something already taken. So you do yarn add mongoose unique validator. When it's done, you go here at the top of the file, you call unique validator from unique validator here. And now the only thing we need to do now is go here and say out schema dot plugin. So we can add some plugin. We're gonna pass the unique validator. And now here the only thing we need to say is message. So which message we want to have when we have a unique thing. We're gonna say the value is already taken. That's it. And now if everything is working and I send, email JSON blah 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 Snow already taken. So you see we did already one thing really good. It's now we have the email this way. Now the thing is, look at how we save the password. It's really not good. We save password 123. So how we can manage that is by adding a package called bcrypt NodeJS. So we're gonna add this package first. Bcrypt NodeJS. This thing gonna help us to crypt, so to do to finally do a hashing version of the password. So it's gonna be harder to read it. So from the bcrypt NodeJS library, we're gonna import the hash sync. So now what we're gonna do, it's here. What I'm gonna do, it's I'm gonna call the out schema.pre. So pre, it's a method, define a pre-hook for the document. Here I'm gonna say do this on the save. Before you save, here, if you remember my tutorial, I told you here, because we want to have access to the disk in the context, we don't want to lose the context of the disk, we need to use the function keyword. And now here what we're gonna do, so remember the disk is gonna be the user in creation. So first thing we're gonna say, if this is modified password, so the name of the key. So here what that means is if we are in the processing modify the password. So that means create or the password. We're gonna hash the password. If not, we're gonna just return the next. So the next, it's like a middleware. So we're gonna just continue. The thing is, why I do this is because if the user want to update his username, example, I don't want to rehash his password from the thing. I mean, he update his username. Why hashing again the password? So this is what that means. So here I'm gonna say that password. So his password now is gonna be equal to this, that, and now here I'm gonna call a function called hash password. Now you maybe ask, what is that? Don't worry, we're gonna see that. And here pass the that password. And now finally we're gonna return next. Else here we're gonna return next. And if you, so this way. So now I'm gonna create this method. Now you maybe ask, okay, well, yeah, but where this is coming, this method? Yeah, this coming from something called methods. And we're gonna call this method right there. We'll take a password. So take the password right there. And now here, the only thing we need to do is return hash sync password. Again, it's just for abstracting some of the code. So now here, I make everything work to make it hashed. And now you're gonna see just by adding this code now, if I go there, I'm gonna delete my RoboMongo because I'm too lazy to change the email, delete document. Now I'm gonna click Postman, and now look. This is the new password of the user. Right there. So now, try to break this thing. I mean, the password 123 is really far away from this. I mean, it's really, it's not the same. So now we are able to hash the password. Now we maybe want to be able to log, but the thing is, the question you maybe ask yourself, it's, okay, yeah, I see what you mean with the hashing password, but now how can my code read this thing? I mean, it's just crazy. And bcrypt give us everything for that. Compare data with hash synchronously. And you see, that's return. I'm gonna just import that return a boolean. It takes some data, a hash version, and return a boolean. So this thing is gonna be again a method. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna say authenticate user. So that's going to be a function. We're going to take the password. So we're going to take the password from the front end. So the password the user gave you. And when you say it's, you finally compare sync with the password. So you see the data. And after that, you need to pass the hash version. Simple. There's that password. So the password of the user himself. So now this function is there, but now you maybe ask yourself, okay, yeah, but now I see your point, but now how can I use it? And now that's why Passport is gonna came for us. So if you go to the Passport.js, Passport.js, it's a authentication middleware for NodeJS. It just helps you to make it really simple. Like they give you a lot of code for help you with the passport thing, like if you want to do like Facebook or everything, and also you do with local. So the local mean this is your own version. What I'm gonna do is inside my out here, I'm gonna create a file called passport.js. Here now I'm gonna need to add two libraries, yarn, add passport and passport local. Passport is the library you always need when you use passport. Passport local is one strategy. So you add the strategy as you want. So if you want Passport Facebook, you install Passport Facebook and you add it. That's it. So in this file, we're gonna really go with some boilerplate. So we're gonna import Passport. After that, we're gonna import the local strategy from Passport local. Here after that, I'm gonna import my out model coming in from my out model. And now here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create some option right there. By default, Passport want to check the username field. If you want to override that, like because we want that by email, this is the way you do. You say you create an object like that. After that, you say const local login. So that's gonna be my my variable, function here. Who's gonna be a new local strategy. This one gonna take the local option. So you see local strategy here. I think maybe say No, you don't see. So some have float types, so now or type scripts. Huh? And now here, this one, I'm gonna have an async function. Here, I'm gonna receive the email, the password, and also done, who's gonna be the callback method, like that. Now here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a try catch. If I have an error here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna return the callback, and here this callback gonna take two things. It's gonna take the first argument. Is gonna be the first argument is gonna be the error if you have an error. The second argument is gonna be if you have a user or not. Here I'm gonna say false because I have no user. I mean, you have an error. Why you should have a user? So I'm gonna say error like that. Now here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first thing to find the user by doing await.out model.find one, and I'm gonna say by email by doing this. So we're gonna just only find one user. If we don't yet have the user, I'm gonna return my callback with no error, but still false. I mean, it's not there. We have no user with this email. Else, if authenticate user, and here we pass the password. So what is that? Is the authenticate user is the same function as right there. We take the password. And because this is a method, you have it on the instance of the user. It's not a static method, it's inside the instance, and now here you can return again, done with null and false. And else, finally, if I have this user and the password match, so this is what that means. So here that means if the password don't match, here I'm gonna return done with null and the user now. And the user gonna be saved in the rec.user. I'm gonna show you that in a moment. Here now I can say passport.use. I'm gonna say my local login. And now we're gonna import a variable called outLocal, who's gonna be passport.authenticate with the local. So you see here, it takes the strategy. And after that here, I'm gonna just say session, because I don't want to save a session. Doing like that. So now we are pretty close to have done with the this one. So what we're gonna do after that is we're gonna go to the service, because I don't want to put this code right inside my controller. So I'm gonna go to my service. I'm gonna import something coming from my passport file, and that's gonna be the outLocal. So the variable we just create right there. And now this thing, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna say login. We're gonna get here the rec, the res, and the next coming from the controller. Rec, res, index. And here, the only thing I'm going to do is return out the local rec, res, and next. Now you may be asked, yeah, but that don't make sense what you did here. That's going to make sense in a moment. Please stay with me. This thing finally just going to call this out local thing we just do with the request, the res, and the next. The next, it's the way to when you have a middleware. But now what we need to do is go to the controller. And we're going to create a login controller. And this one gonna take the rec, the res, and the next. And this one gonna do finally res that status 200 if the user is working, because remember this is a middleware. So the passport gonna happen before the login. So what that means is if this controller get it, that means we have it. So that's why we can return a 200 here and just say rec.user. We want to return the rec.user to the front end for now. And now after that, I can just say, hey, after that, just continue the code, that's it. Now the part here is gonna be where we're gonna do the route. So what I'm gonna do with the route here, now I'm gonna need to import my out services coming in from my services file. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say route.post /login. And now here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass my middleware login, and now I'm gonna put my controller login like that. You can maybe call services here login or login middleware. So I think login middleware gonna make more sense. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna just put login middleware right there. Now make sure your code is not breaking. I'm gonna say RS. This is a way to restart Node. Perfect. So now I have my user register. I'm here, my user is still there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to /login, because remember this route here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first thing remove the username. And first thing I'm going to just do the email. First thing I'm going to get a bad request because I absolutely need a password. Now, if I have the good password and the good email, I get 500. Not good. Incorrect argument. Incorrect argument. What I think is I maybe did an error right there in passport. So I'm going to just check my code really quick. So I say username field. I put the email. Sounds good here. I put the option here. It's pretty strange. So right now what I pin, so I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna be right back when I find it. Okay, so I found my error. Look at this. I make a typo right there with the password. So now I'll go back to Postman. And now if I send, I get a 200 OK. So that means my user can log. If you don't trust me, add a for here, send, you're not authorized. It's not a good one. So if, example, I send a bad email, like that, also it's going to be unauthorized. So now the logging system works. So we log. So make sure that you didn't make this error. So I'm sure you have seen my error before me. So now you know. So the flow here right now, it's we send, that go to the route here. Who called here, go to the logging. After that, go to the middleware, logging middleware from the out service. So the out service is this thing here. Who get the rec, res, and next, and get the out local. Out local came from the passport. So here is me trying to debug. Who finally here gonna find the user. If no user, return no error but unauthorized. If the password don't match the one saved, it return no user info. And after that, it's gonna return the user here. When you return the user here, that's gonna go here inside the rec that user, and that's why now you can see the user in my Postman. So I hope you enjoy. Sorry if I get some bad error. I mean, this is the beauty of live coding. So I hope you enjoy, and we're gonna talk in the next episode where now we're gonna start to do the email services where we're gonna send a verification email. So I hope you enjoy, and we're gonna talk later. Have a good night. Bye.